Our topic is You Better Watch the Man, part 3, Daniel chapter 7, verses 15 through 28. In our lesson tonight, starting in Daniel chapter 7, verse 15, Daniel is actually amazed at what he sees in verses 2 through 14 regarding the future fall of the world Gentile powers and the rise of the kingdom of Yah. He says in verse 15 and 16, I, Daniel, was grieved in my spirit in the midst of my body, and the visions of my head troubled me. I came near unto one of them that stood by and asked him the truth of all this. So he told me and made me know the interpretation of the things. Evidently in verse 16, there is someone whom Daniel says was, quote, one of them who stood by. And this is what it says in the English. In the Aramaic that this entire chapter is written in, this chapter is not written in Hebrew, it's written in Aramaic. This reference in verse 16 is someone whom Daniel draws near after he sees the vision. This person is evidently one of the attendants before the throne of Yah, as described in verse 10, where it says, thousands ministered unto the Ancient of Days. And it is very likely this person is a malach, the Hebrew word for angel. In verse 16, Daniel asked the malach to explain to him what was the meaning of the vision he just saw. And the malach then begins to explain to Daniel the interpretation of the vision. In verses 17 and 18, he says, these great beasts, which are four kings, which shall arise out of the earth. So these four kings, these four beasts, they rise and stand together at the same time. At that time, they're not unfolding and being replaced by each other. They stand together at the same time. And Daniel's told this shall happen in the future. However, the angel Malach tells Daniel, but the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever. The angel is telling Daniel about these four beasts, that as powerful as they are, they're going to lose all their power. And I believe some people today have looked at how some of that power rose up against a young man called Kyrie Irving. And they pulled up all kind of threats on him and his livelihood, that they could take away his power. But the angel tells Daniel tonight it's just the other way around. The saints will take away their power. It's coming. They are not all powerful like they think they are, to take us and whip us until we cry Toby, like in Roots, till we say, I'll be a good boy, I won't do it again. That time is coming to a close. They can do that. The angel is telling us that these current world Gentile powers are England, Russia, Germany, and the fourth kingdom, which will be based out of Babylon, America. This fourth kingdom will be centered in Washington, D.C., where the capital of the little horn Antichrist beast will be based. England, Russia, and Germany will merge under his authority as described in Revelation chapter 13, verses 1 through 3, where it states, and I stood upon the sand of the sea and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority. And I saw one of his heads, as it were, wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed. And all the world wondered after the beast, and they worshiped the dragon, which gave power unto the beast. And they worshiped the beast, saying, who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make war with him? According to Revelation 17, the fourth beast will initially support the world economic capital of Mystery Babylon, New York. In verse 3 through 5 of Revelation 17, it says, so he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. So the little horn is one of 7 kings down through history that will one day come back after having died with a wound to his head. And he will ascend from the bottomless pit. But he comes and appears in the midst of America. And he will be supported by 10 rulers that will arise in America. And the whore of Babylon, the city New York, is in America. So the beast, the 10 horns, and the whore of Babylon, they're all in one land. They're not in different lands, they're all in one land, one country, America. And that's where we're headed to, beloved. That's where the Great Reset is headed to. And we see that New York will be the crown jewel of the world. It's already the economic center of the world. And it says of her in the last verse of chapter 17 of Revelation that she is that great city that rules over the kings of the earth because they are all indebted to her money. And you can see what they did with that young man this week by challenging his money until he finally had to apologize today, unfortunately. But nonetheless, their time to keep doing that is coming to an end. That's what Daniel was seeing, is the time that those people that did what they did to this young man and will do it to any of us, their time to keep bullying us is coming to an end. This is what Daniel chapter 7 is about. And this is why I'm saying you better watch the man, not to be afraid of him, but to watch what y'all getting ready to do to him. Because we see Mystery Babylon is trying to control everything. That young man got to go to New York City in the next few days to report to a commissioner of a league comprised of a lot of millionaire brothers that have gotten caught up with the delusion of inclusion. And they're gonna learn like O.J. Simpson found out, and like this young man is learning, that they're not as well set up financially and influentially as they think they are. We've had some of these guys come out because they're scared they're gonna lose their money, and they come out against this young man, call them names. People like Shaq, Charles Barkley, yeah, call them out for what they are. Call them out. Call them out. They've sold out. People like Stephen A. and others, sellouts.
Sellouts.
That have sold out. That young man, I tell you today, beloved, as much as I love basketball coming from Kentucky, I'm very tempted to not get caught up with anything in that league anymore. To hell with it.
Yeah.
Now
Hallelujah.
this young man got to go to New York City, to Mystery Babylon, to report for duty, to get another whipping before one of those people that say they are and are not, because they run that league. Hallelujah. But before I get all caught up and angry, Daniel said he got sick of watching this kind of thing. But in
Yes.
spite of this powerful coalition of Gentile world powers, the Melech, the messenger tells Daniel, but the saints, in verse 18, but the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom. They're not going to give us the power. We will take the power. And it says, and the saints shall possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever. Hallelujah. So while we see the news, how the beast system is trying to take us Black people down, like Kyrie and Kanye, who are the Israelites, it's good to be reminded that we will take over all their kingdom forever. For as was prayed tonight, for thine is the kingdom forever. Hallelujah. Praise Yah, your time is coming. Then Daniel said to the Melech in verses 19 through 22, then I would know the truth of the fourth beast, which was diverse from all the others, exceeding dreadful, whose teeth were of iron and his nails of brass, which devoured, break in pieces, and stamped the residue with his feet. And the 10 horns that were in his head, and of the other, which came up, and before whom three fell, even of that horn that had eyes and a mouth that spake very great things, whose look was more stout than his fellows. I beheld, and the same horn made war with the saints and prevailed against them until, verse 22, until the Ancient of Days came and judgment was given to the saints of the Most High. No weapon formed against you will prosper.
Hallelujah.
You shall rise up in judgment and condemn those that condemned you. Those that just want to keep pressing a young man to keep saying he's sorry and told them so many times over. But that's not good enough. They got to suspend him. Not even tell him when he can come back to work. He's been saying things from his heart. That's not good enough. They want him to say it the way they want him to say it. In other words, you a boy, we your masters. But see, hallelujah, the time is coming where Yah is going to take that power from them. Yahshua said, I have the key of the house of David. I open and no man can shut. And I know the blasphemy of the synagogue of Satan. They who say they are Yahudim and are not. I will make them to bow at your feet and know that I have loved you. Hallelujah. But Daniel wanted to know more about this fourth kingdom, this kingdom that's about to emerge right here in America. America's getting ready to go to the election polls this coming week, and a lot of people think that may have some impact on prophetic events coming in the future. I don't know, but it bears watching. Keep your eyes and ears open, beloved. These are critical, crucial times. And we also hear that Trump may be getting ready to announce he's going to run again, coming up in the next few days, probably after the election, sometime in this coming week. We already saw in our land, the man that tried to expel us from our land, he's got back in power. Netanyahu, who's now prime minister there, So it seemed like things may not be looking good for us right now. It'll be like Jeremiah said, weeping may endure for a night. But then the Melach tells Daniel in so many words, but joy is going to come in the morning. We have to keep that in mind because we're going to see some really crazy things coming up. And Daniel wants to know more about what this is that he's seeing. He doesn't quite understand it, but what he does see, he sees he doesn't like. But the angel answers and says in verses 23 through 27, thus he said, the fourth beast shall be the fourth kingdom upon earth, which shall be diverse from all kingdoms, and shall devour the whole earth, and shall tread it down and break it in pieces. And the 10 horns out of this kingdom are 10 kings that shall arise, and another shall rise after them, and he shall be diverse from the first, and he shall subdue 3 kings. Verse 25, and he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws. And they shall be given into his hand until a time and times and the dividing of time. But the judgment shall sit, and they shall take away his dominion to consume and to destroy it unto the end. And the kingdom and dominion and the greatness of the kingdom under the whole heaven shall be given to the people of the saints of the Most High, whose kingdom is an everlasting kingdom. And all dominions shall serve and obey him. Hallelujah. Praise Yah, the everlasting kingdom of the Most High. In verse 23, the messenger, the Melach, tells Daniel that the fourth beast will be the most powerful of all the beast nations before it. Revelation 13:7 speaks of this fourth beast. It says in verse 7, and it was given unto him to make war with the saints and to overcome them. And power was given unto him over all kindred, tongues, and nations. Now the war seems to have been started. The battle plan is going to be, if you, being a Black person, say you an Israelite, you can be charged as being anti-Semitic just for saying that you're an Israelite. You can be charged as someone anti-Semitic. And that's the propaganda war of the devil that's coming out. And then they can use that as a pretense to cut off your economics. That's the kind of trick Satan's playing with the synagogue of Satan. But then the messenger explains today in verse 24 that the 10 horns of the beast are 10 rulers that will come out of this country. There will be 10 rulers that will come out of this country and divide up America into 10 sections that they will each rule. FEMA, Federal Emergency Management Agency, has already, I'm getting ready to show you something. FEMA has already divided up the country into 10 regions in preparations of the coming 10 kings, called the 10 horns. Stand by, let me get this. I should have pulled this up earlier. Stand by, it just takes me a second to pull it up so you can see how FEMA's got this country divided up. Stand by. All right, there we go. Stand by. All right. Can you all see the screen of the 10 regions of America? How it's broken up into 10 regions.
Yes.
Can you all see the screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, okay. So you got region 1, which includes Boston. That will be the capital of region 1. That's your home area, I believe, Ema Abigail. That's region 1. That's New England. Then you have region 2, which looks like New York, and I believe that's New Jersey right there. I'm not sure, but maybe it's just New York by itself.
Something?
And then you got region 3, which includes Philly, Virginia, West Virginia, Pennsylvania. That's region 3. Then you got region 4, which is Kentucky, Tennessee, South Carolina, Georgia, and Florida, and Alabama, and Mississippi. All right. And then in region 5, Midwest, you got Michigan, Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, Wisconsin, and Minnesota. And the capital of that area is Chicago. And the capital of this region in the South is Atlanta. The capital of that will be. Then you have region 7, which is Iowa, Missouri, Kansas, and I believe that's Nebraska. That's region 7. The capital will be Kansas City, Missouri. You have, we skipped region 6, but region 6 will be Louisiana, Arkansas, Oklahoma, Texas, New Mexico. Its capital is Denton, Texas. You have region 8, which includes Colorado, Nevada. I believe this is Wyoming, North, South, and North Dakota, Montana. Its capital of that region is Denver. Region 9 is California and Arizona. Its capital is Oakland, California. Region 10, Washington State, Oregon, and Alaska and Hawaii. Region 10, and its capital will be Seattle. Each of these 10 capitals are appearing more and more every day. Things could change. They're appearing more and more every day to be preparations for the setting up of the 10 kings to get their shares of their 10 positions. And if this breaks up this way, that's because there would have been some kind of martial law set up that would cause that to happen. So this bears watching. I just wanted to give you a glimpse of some of this. Stand by. All right, so the Melech tells Daniel that the little horn, who is the Antichrist, will rise to power and will displace 3 of these original 10 kings. That means there will eventually be people, 10 rulers, that will initially come to power before the beast comes to power. And when he rises to power, 3 of these rulers, it doesn't tell us what section, will rise up against him and not submit to him. And he will depose them and replace them. Because the Melech tells Daniel that the little horn is the Antichrist, will rise to power. He will displace 3 of the original 10 kings and will eventually replace them with 3 other kings that are favorable to him. Daniel 11:39 says of the little horn, in the 3rd clause of that verse of Daniel 11:39, it says, And he shall cause them to rule over many, and he shall divide the land for gain. So already the movement of the beast is already dividing this land up into 10 divisions. And Satan will give all of this over to the devil. The devil will give this all over to the beast, the Antichrist, of a new America, a new government under the leadership of Nimrod, who will have been released from the pit of hell for power over the world for 42 months. And he will come against the saints. Whenever you see this put out like this is in case of a national emergency where the government will be suspended as you know it. Martial law will be implemented. And that means you'll have a military state. And instead of having governments that are state governments, you'll have governments that now become 10 regional governments with 10 regional kings or rulers. This is all being set up already that Daniel is seeing already. And according to Revelation 17, verse 12 through 13, all of the 10 horns will eventually turn over their power to the beast. All of these rulers. And the three that won't, they will be knocked out of power and replaced by 3 others. And all 10 of these regions will be turned over to the government of the beast. And America will become a dictatorship. That's approaching. In verse 25 of Daniel 7, in Revelation 17 through chapter 17, verse 12 through 13, it says this, and the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings, which have received no kingdom as yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast. These shall have one mind, and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. Verse 25, the messenger tells Daniel of the great blasphemy to Yah and the persecution of the saints by the beast. Verse 25 of Daniel 7 says, and he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws, and they shall be given into his hand until a time and times and the dividing of times. The Malach says, the messenger says that the beast power will last for only 3.5 years. That is 42 months. Revelation 13:5 likewise says of the beast, and there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, and power was given unto him to continue 42 months. That again is a time, times and a half of times, which is 3.5 years. Do 3 times 12, and you come up with 40. You come up with 42. And this is the kingdom of the beast, 3.5. So, but Daniel's told, but the judgment shall sit, and they shall take away his power. See, this man's power, this man want to make us boys and girls, not grown, that wants to patronize us by saying, well, you need to sit down and talk with us about this information you claim to know, that you the Israelites. Don't you understand that that's only a fallacy, and yet you got all the records and evidence and data, biblically, archaeologically? How in the world can you be anti-Semitic, like he said, like that young man said? If I know where I'm from, how can I be anti-Semitic? If you know you're an Israelite, how can you hate yourself How can you be anti-you? That right there was cause for them to really come out, to make him an example. There's going to be more of that. Get ready. However, the judgment shall sit, that Malak says, and they shall take away his dominion, to consume and to destroy it unto the end. That is, when they fall, they will never come back to power again. That's the end of that for them. Their time is coming to an end. Just when they think they've got it the way they want it against us, where they threaten to take away our economic power, where they threaten to misrepresent us and do misrepresent us on their media outlets. And when they think they have so much power, in fact, I sent you a video of one rabbi who said he's a little afraid that the way they're showing off their power against Kanye and Kyrie, Kanye done lost billions of dollars. They've attacked him, really wanted to make him an example to the rappers. Any rapper that's out there trying to speak things regarding positive healing and positive history and knowledge, they won't choose him. But the one that comes speaking destruction and killing of one another, they'll let him get $1 million contract. You see, and they got it all planned out the way they think, but the kingdom and the dominion is getting ready to be taken from them. Yeshua says, I will make them kiss your feet. They will bow to you. That day is coming. The day we gotta apologize for telling him he got his foot on our neck. Oh, I'm sorry to tell you that you got your foot on my neck. Could you please take it off? I'm sorry I told you that. That day is coming to a close. Hallelujah. The angel tells Daniel that in spite of the beast's power, that the kingdom of the beast will fall and be judged by Yah, and the saints will take over the world. This will happen at the time of the second coming of Yahshua. Hallelujah. Daniel concludes in verse 28 that he was troubled and sickened by the vision of the fourth beast. And it is evil. I can't tell you how sick and angry I've been with what I've seen these last few days, because I know where it's leading up to. And I've seen it all too many times. I know Elder Yahuda, you and I remember how it was when we were teenagers in high school. There was a young man from Louisville, Kentucky, who was the heavyweight champion of the world. And they tried to do all that to him. And they tried to break him down, got other athletes like Floyd Patterson to say he shouldn't have changed his name, and saying that he should be ready to go and fight the Vietnamese in Vietnam. And he had said, how can I fight the Vietnamese? They haven't lynched me and raped my grandparents. Oh, when that brother said that, that's when they really took away his power, his belt, his throne as heavyweight champion of the world. But he didn't give up and give out. He just stayed there. He had it rough. And now, after seeing that as young men growing up, to see this, all of a sudden we're having them same flashbacks. So we got to pray for those young men, pray for all of our people. But as Daniel saw it, it made him sick. Daniel was sick to see what's happening to you, his people, in these last days. Even though he lived 2,500 years ago, Yah opened up his eyes to see down into this time. And he said it's going to even get worse, but it won't last for long. And so Daniel says in verse 28, hitherto is the end of the matter. As for me, Daniel, my cogitation much troubled me, and my countenance changed in me, but I kept the matter in my heart. And though he was sick from seeing the wickedness of the fourth beast upon you, his people, in the latter days, Daniel nonetheless says he retained that information. And that's why he wrote this chapter. It wasn't for his time, it was for you. So that when you see these things as they're unfolding, and they're going to get worse, we're just seeing the tip of the iceberg. There's way more coming, particularly when this country goes into national emergency management, 10 horns. When they come up, this is when they'll be grabbing and taking or attempting to take you to concentration camps. But Daniel nonetheless retained this information for us who are living in these last days as a warning and insight to you, his people Israel. Hallelujah. Praise Yah.